All right, good Sunday afternoon. We're in Rockcastle County, Kentucky. Most of us that live around here or have lived around here for some time at one time or another have heard of the Battle of Wildcat Mountain, Camp Wildcat, all kinds of different things it's called. Well, we're going to do a little exploring, and we're taking the mobile transmitter with us. We're going to try to play a little radio on top of the mountain. Now, my grandparents grew up here. My grandmother grew up on Camp Wildcat, or Wildcat Mountain, and her granddaddy owned a trading post that traded goods along the Wilderness Trail. Grandpa grew up on the other side of 25W here at Sand Hill, right here just past where I'm standing. We're just a little bit south of Livingston, right on 25W, got off at the 49er and went north, about 3.5, 4 miles to up here, and we're going to head up on top of the mountain. Now, where we're at now is the crossing, the ford of the Rockcastle River. This is what that whole battle was about. Zollicoffer's Confederates were camped out at Pineville at the Cumberland Ford there. They had come through Cumberland Gap, and they were protecting the Wilderness Road. They were projecting the Wilderness Road. The Union forces were camped out at Camp Dick, which is on 27. Actually, you can visit that. It's on Highway 27. But they were going against the Union forces. Zollicoffer had about 5,400 people, and the Union Army had about 7,000 at Camp Dick. And so the Union Army had them outnumbered by about 50%. And the Confederates had marched here. They had chased off some Union soldiers at Barberville in the Battle of Barberville, and they had retreated back to Camp Dick, and they had come back to meet here for a battle that would see the Confederate forces lose and Zollicoffer to have to retreat back to Cumberland Gap. But we're going to go on a little adventure up here and check this place out. We're on the Wilderness Road. You know, most of us today, we think of going somewhere, we think of getting on the interstate, getting on an airplane, getting on 25W, 25E, one of these big nice roads, and taking off. Back in Civil War times, this was the highway, and it wasn't gravel then. It was muddy, it was a mess. Daniel Boone had cut trees down and laid logs in the muddy holes so that they'd have some traction, something to stand on. But that's what they had to travel on. And this was the major highway. This was the interstate back in the 1860s when this battle happened. But we're going to go on a little adventure and see what we can locate here at Camp Wildcat and see if we can transmit from the top. Maybe talk to some wingnuts, who knows, we'll see. KR4 Golf Whiskey Delta. We're in the Wilderness Road headed up to Camp Wildcat or Wildcat Mountain, whichever one you want to call it. All right, and this right here, folks, is how you get across the ford at the Rockcastle River. You drive through it with a truck. This is the way they did it in olden times. This is the way they still do it today. There's still no, as of today, there's still no bridge. So the folks that live on the other side, this is how they got to get to town. We're going to go up into the Robinson Cemetery. This is where my grandmother's parents are buried, James Begley and Rebecca Begley. And I assume her grandparents are buried here as well. There are several tombstones in this cemetery that have deteriorated away that you can't read the names on and don't really know who they are. But those graves, they're right up here. And it looks like probably a brother to her. He was born in 1909, and my grandmother was born, I'm not sure exactly, 1905 or somewhere in that neighborhood. But right here's the graves of James Begley, and this is Rebecca Begley. That's her parents. And right beside them is Farmer Begley. Looks like he lived almost 40 years. About 39 years before he passed away in 1948. And he's buried next to, I guess, his mother and father. But we're up here in the Robinson Cemetery, Camp Wildcat, Wildcat Mountain, Laurel County, Kentucky. All right, we're still up here at Camp Wildcat, Wildcat Mountain. First time I ever came up here, I was with Bill Lynch and Jack Foley. We were in the Boy Scouts. They were the troop leaders. We were doing the 50-mile hike. we came up here, and that was actually the first time I'd seen the Robinson Cemetery. None of this, as far as the public exhibits, it didn't exist then. This was still private land. Currently, part of it's been bought out by the Daniel Boone National Forest, and it's been turned in to a park, Battlefield Park. That only happened a few years back. It's not been that long. But before that, it was still private. A lot of people used to come up here and dig for artifacts. They used to find buttons and belt buckles and bullets and knives and rifles and different things. But cannonballs. Still looking around here, you see some of the breastworks that are still built. My grandmother used to tell me about those. We're up here in the part where they've got the memorial to the Battle of Camp Wildcat. They've got various stones placed by various different groups up here. One for the Union, one for the Confederacy. I understand, right or wrong on either side, most of the men that were engaged in these battles, they were just like anybody else in the Army. They lived in a certain place, and the powers that be above them decided to go to war, and they were drafted or conscripted into the Army and forced to serve. They really had no say in what they were doing, other than they were a soldier, and they did what they were told. So respect to both of those, and respect to these people. There's quite a few of these up here, little signs. It's got different facts and figures on this battle. Like I said, there were about 7,000 Union troops involved and about 5,400 Confederate troops involved. If you look at some of the paintings that people did, of course, cameras in 1861 weren't that common of a thing, so you don't see a lot of photographs like you would of a modern battle scene, but you did see quite a few pictures that were painted, hand painted by artists that were traveling with the armies. And on those, you'd see the forces lined up against one another and firing at one another, seemingly at point blank range. Now, officially, the casualties were about 75 or so between both sides. A little more on the Confederate side, about 50, and about 25 on the Union side. That's including killed and wounded on both of those, for a total of about 75. Unofficially, there were people in London that said wagon loads of Confederates dead passed through town. Said there were thousands dead, and I don't know. Back then, there were probably some gamesmanship. Neither side wanted to admit the total losses that they had. They may have been more than 50. It's hard to see, looking at some of these paintings, that only 50 people could have been killed as close as they were. You'd think pure happenstance, with that many people lined up at one another, shooting at one another, that every now and then, just by chance, a bullet would hit a guy and kill him. But it is what it is. We've got a lot of four-wheeler traffic up here, and we'll kind of let this one get by here. All right, we've let the motorcycle get by, and right here we've got a monument memorial to the Wildcat School. My grandmother always told me that her grandfather and daddy donated the land that they built this school on. And looking at this picture here, at the top row, the second one over from the left, that's my grandmother, Carrie Begley, here in this picture of the children at the Wildcat School. And it says that this photo was taken in 1921, so she would probably have been like a senior in high school when this was taken. But I thought that was kind of neat. I saw that the other day when I scouted this out. But that is my grandmother's picture right there. We're up here at the pavilion. They've got a nice pavilion up here at the Wildcat Park. Got a big flagpole. I think they'd take a dim view of me using their flagpole to broadcast from. But they've also got a cannon down here. As you can kind of see, back then in 1861, the Union had the high ground. The Confederates were coming up through London, and they were coming up the Wilderness Road. They had the low ground. They were having to fight to get to the top of the hill. The Union, the biggest group they had was on a place called Hoosier Knob, and that's where an Indiana infantry unit and artillery unit were, and they were firing down on the Confederates that were on the low ground. The Confederates had to fight uphill, and they were fighting more men, which is why they lost and got sent back to Pineville. But the Union also have less distance to cover to get here. They had about 50 miles, whereas the Confederates had a little over 100 coming across country from Pineville, from Cumberland Gap. But we're up here at the pavilion. They've got a nice restroom, real nice facility, and a lot of little plaques up here telling you all about the battle and which generals were what, and all of that information. One of the plaques says this was the first battle in eastern Kentucky during the Civil War. It wasn't the first battle. It was the second. The first battle was at Barbourville. That's where Zollicoffer came and met federal troops that were at Barbourville, the Battle of Barbourville. They were recruiting soldiers for the Union Army at Barbourville. And Zollicoffer's forces came up. They were at Pineville, camped out at the ford of the Cumberland, and they came to Barbourville and defeated the small Union force at Barbourville, and they retreated back to Camp Dick, and that was the impetus, or what caused this battle at Wildcat. When they retreated back, the Union then sent reinforcements up this way, and the Confederates were following and chasing them, trying to get up here to take over this ford on the Rockcastle River along the Wilderness Road. But we're still up here, and we're going to go try to get set up here on Infantry Ridge somewhere, find us a place to get set up and see if we can't get a little radio work done. It's KR4 Golf Whiskey Delta. We're at Wildcat Mountain Battlefield, Wildcat Camp, Wildcat, whatever you want to call it, here in Laurel County. All right, here's the second of 3 cannon that are located in this park. This one was an Ohio artillery unit that was supporting Union troops that were on Hoosier Knob. It was firing into the Confederates below. This is the second of 3, though. There's one down there by the pavilion, and there's a third one somewhere else. I don't know, I've not seen it yet. This one just appears to me that is a modern, that's a modern running gear under that cannon. It's steel, so it's not a Civil War era rig for the cannon, but it is on display here at Wildcat Mountain. Well, here we are. We're on top of Wildcat Mountain. We're on an Infantry Ridge, and we're right beside the trail of the old Wilderness Road. We've got our 991 Yazoo, 991A, rigged up. We got an antenna wire tossed up into a tree, and we're receiving the 7230, the wing nuts. Let's see if we can break in here in just a minute, if we can get a word in edgewise.
I'm watching some fishing on the Outdoor Channel, and there's some boys catching some bass, and I'm trying to learn something there. Go ahead. Well, good. You'll be able to use it when you go fishing. I don't know if you and Gary's deals worked out, or if you even bought a rod and reel.
Taking a while to get in a word edgewise with these two.
I know you're looking for some tackle, so...
Band sounds real good right now. We've only got 2 wires up here.
Oh, yes, sir, Steve. I come across tackle. Yeah, there's a lot of good fishing down here. I know that. We've got some of the biggest crappie and bass lakes there are. So people come from all over the world to fish down here. Oh, I know it there, Mississippi Steve. I know it. I sure.
Well, we're trying.
Just like, Flat Rock Bill down there in Alabama. The same scenario there at QSL. Oh, QSL. Ken, I want to tell you what it is. The water stays warm, okay?
Okay.
You know, there's none of that ice fishing down here, okay?
We're at Infantry Ridge. We're right beside the, whatever you call it, note card or billboard thing that designates that this is part of the old Wilderness Road. The Wilderness Road ran from Martin Station, Virginia to Harrodsburg, Kentucky. It was laid out by Daniel Boone, He laid it out concurrent with Indian trails and game trails that come through the Cumberland Gap and all the way up to Harrodsburg. And this is what the Army was fighting over. This is what the Confederates were fighting to keep the Union out of the Cumberland Gap and to advance into Kentucky. And the Union was trying to recruit soldiers out of eastern Kentucky and trying to establish eastern Kentucky and trying to get to Cumberland Gap so that they could get into Virginia. The Union was also trying to protect Grant's eastern front as Grant moved into western Kentucky. So we're on the 7230. This is the Wingnut channel. I am one of the Wingnuts, registered member. So I'm going to see if I can bust in on these guys and see what happens. We got a wire up in a tree. Don't know how it's going to transmit, but it's receiving good and the band sounds good today.
Memphis, Tennessee, and there's a big highway called I-55, and if you go down...
We'll see what happens here in just a minute. Kind of hard to get in a word edgewise with these two guys.
And there's like 5 of them here, 4 of them here, and it's a fisherman's paradise. QSL. Hey y'all, this is Alpha Kilo 9er, Echo November. Operator Ken here, Kilo Echo November. Over here in southwest Indiana, Marion County, at top of the hour. And I'm talking to W9UQZ over there, Steve up in northern Mississippi there. So, yeah, but good deal. Man, I just can't wait to go. I've been acquiring some more fish.
Thought he was going to let me in there.
And rods and reels and stuff. Man, I got to...
You ought to go fishing with me, jaw jacking sometime.
Hey, what's it called? I got to pass. Yeah, so...
All right, this is Skip, Kilo Romeo 4, Golf Whiskey Delta. We're on top of Infantry Ridge here at Wildcat Mountain. We've got our radio set up, our 991 Yazoo, set up on our Go rig. Right in the bottom of this here, we've got a couple of lithium batteries. Got the radio plugged in, got a wire antenna on a baling thrown up into a tree on a limb. And we're tuned into the 7230, the Wingnut channel. And I'm a registered member of the Wingnuts, so we're going to wingnut along if we can get in a word edgewise with these two guys. They've been going on for about 30 minutes here. Don't know if we can get out, but the band seems awful clear today. And we've got a good signal coming in.
Oh, good deal. Well, there ain't nothing to stop you from going now. You know that? I'd go. I would.
So we'll see here.
Like I said, I'm gonna actually
They're talking fishing. That's why Wingnuts is my kind of people. They talk fishing. They got one guy from down around Guntersville. Gets on here kind of regular.
License? Sure. I'm gonna hit the lakes, I believe.
This is Kilo Romeo 4, Golf Whiskey Delta. How's the Wingnuts this afternoon?
Go ahead.
I'm doing a mobile broadcast from Wildcat Mountain in Kentucky, site of the Second Civil War battle in eastern Kentucky.
Wildcat Mountain, that sounds like a hell of a place, you know that?
It is. My grandparents were from this area. My grandmother's grandfather actually owned a trading post. It was on Wilderness Road that was here at the time of the battle. And she was born around 1905, 1904, somewhere in that neighborhood. They got her picture up here on a sign where they've turned this into a park. And I've rolled up here with a 991A with a lithium battery in a box and got a wire thrown up in a tree, and here we go.
Well, you got a good signal. I don't know how far away you are from me because I didn't take geography in school.
I'm roughly halfway between Lexington, Kentucky and Knoxville, Tennessee. Actually, I'm probably a little closer to Lexington right now, but about 20 miles than Knoxville.
You've got a pretty good signal. I can tell that you're not AI. Okay, so hey, you got a great signal.
Well, I appreciate that. Glad we're getting out pretty good. I was kind of surprised. It was receiving well. The band sounds good today.
Well, let me tell you what. If you're outside and you've got a ham radio and you're in the middle of nowhere, and you're going to have a good signal. I mean, luck's on your side. Over.
Yeah, sure is. Normally on Sundays I go out to the gun club and run this baling up a flagpole and put 4 legs on the dipole, and it does pretty well. Here in the park I'm kind of limited. It's not near as high as it is on the flagpole, but I am on top of a ridge.
Well, I have no trouble copying it at all. Good copy.
This ridge is where the Ohio artillery unit came in and defended the Indiana infantry unit that repelled the rebels from a place called Hoosier Knob.
Well, I don't remember that Civil War, and I don't think I had any of my grandparents. I'm not a new immigrant, but I can't remember any of my relatives that fought in the Civil War because they all died. So didn't have a chance to talk to them. Over.
Yeah, I'd say they're all long gone by now.
Well, I know one thing, a good country was developed after the Civil War, so I'm proud of that. So it was the United States of America, so that's a good thing.
Well, this battle, for what it's worth, was a Union victory. Felix Zollicoffer was the Confederate general. He was in charge of Cumberland Gap, Wilderness Road. Cumberland Gap was the road that settled the West, coming through Cumberland Gap out of Virginia into Kentucky. It went from Martin Station to Harrodsburg, Kentucky, laid out by Daniel Boone. And Zollicoffer was defending the western side of the Cumberland Gap and tried to advance against Union forces that were in Camp Dick, which is just south of Lexington, Kentucky, along Highway 27. And they were defending the eastern front from Grant as he came out of the west into Kentucky, headed for Tennessee.
Oh, you know, I didn't read any books or study any, but, you know, they taught us about the Civil War when I was in school back in the 60s, and I got the gist of it. Yeah, a lot of battles. I've been to Gettysburg, I've been to Shiloh, and that's about the only 2 places I've been.
Well, now that I've got this rig built, I'm kind of a new ham, but I do a lot of stuff on YouTube and Facebook. I go to Skip Walden, Skip's Outdoors, and I want to start doing mobile ham radio.
Hey, Steve. Hey, go ahead, Mr. Ken.
Hey, just let I'm sure that station you're talking to is hearing me, but I do not hear him very, very vaguely. So I just wanted to let you know I'm listening and I'm on the side. So I didn't go anywhere because I just didn't want to intrude on y'all's queue. So I hear you talking just well, but I don't hear the station you're talking to very well at all there, QSL.
Oh, QSL, he's probably got a special call sign too, and he's out of Kentucky, and he's outside of Lexington, I believe, and he's at a place where there was a Civil War battle. He might be a little bit more east of Lexington, okay? And I don't know where in the heck Lexington is, okay? But, yeah, he's doing like a special event, and he's just waving a hand. He's coming by.
So it sounds like we're not getting out east to west, because the guy that's asking's in Mississippi. We're going north to south pretty good. The guy I'm talking to is in Indiana.
I can't hear him either. Well, golly, I'm in Mississippi, so there must be a little
Well, I'll take that back.
involved.
Well, my antenna, I'll give you, it's not as straight as it could be. I just kind of, like I said, threw it up in some trees in the woods alongside of a trail.
Okay, I hear you now.
Yeah, I heard you say there too, sir. You said you threw your antenna up alongside of a tree?
Oh yeah, I'm in the forest underneath the canopy.
In the forest underneath the camper. Where's your QTH as of right now?
I'm in Laurel County, Kentucky, near London, Kentucky, but about halfway between there and Livingston.
QSL. Well, I'll tell you what. You are moving my needle now, and hopefully I'm not intruding on Jim, KO9D, or anybody else, but hey, you're definitely moving my needle now, sir, and I got a good copy on you here. Up in the Circle City of Indianapolis, Indiana, okay? This Alpha Kilo 9 or Echo November, AK9EN, Operator Ken there, QSL.
All right, this is Kilo Romeo 4, Golf Whiskey Delta. I go by Skip. If you look it up, you'll find me under Lonnie.
You say you're running 70 watts?
No, I'm running 50. I've got a 991A, but it's wounded. It'll only do 50 watts for some reason.
Oh, you're doing 50 watts?
Affirmative, 50 watts.
Turn it up to 100.
Oh, wow. How come you're only doing 50 watts? Turn it up all the way up to full power.
The radio's wounded. It's got some kind of a issue with it. That's as high as it'll go.
He said he's having an issue with his radio.
Okay. I just, yeah, I mean, I hear him, but it's kind of, you know, right there, you know what I mean? So I apologize for that, y'all. That's AK9N.
Must have a bad power supply, must not be strong enough.
I've got it on a good size lithium battery. It's like a Group 24 size lithium battery, 650 CCA on it.
You got a charger on at the same time?
Negative. I'm out in the woods.
Okay, well, yeah, the battery, if it's sitting at 12 volts, it might not put out 100 watts.
Let's see. It's sitting at 13.2. 13.2 is what it's setting at, according to the voltmeter.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. What does it do? This is Brock, AK4CZ. What does it do when it's plugged into a power supply, plugged into the wall? You know, 13.8 and all that. Is it just about the same, 50-something watts?
50 watts is all it'll do. I bought this radio used, and it's been that way ever since I bought it. I don't know. It must have had a problem when I bought it. This is Kilo Romeo 4, Golf Whiskey Delta.
Yeah, I heard Whiskey Alpha 5, Kilo X-ray something. Barely copy, but I do hear you.
This is Kilo Romeo 4, Golf Whiskey Delta.
Man, I did hear you. Just said I didn't hear you good enough, but you're in there. I'm in Arlington, Texas. I don't know where you are, but I do hear you.
I'm near London, Kentucky. Wildcat battlefield, Civil War battlefield. That one's from Texas. Getting way down there. 4 Golf Whiskey Delta. This is Skip, London, Kentucky.
We got you, Skip. Kilo Romeo 4, Golf Whiskey Delta on line number 12.
I'm checking in from Wildcat Mountain, Civil War battlefield.
Well, that sounds great. I tell you what, you sure sound good. You're 5'9" plus over here in South Texas.
Well, that's super. Kind of a half-wit setup here. I've got a wire thrown up in a tree, remote, operating off of a battery at about 50 watts.
That son of a gun is doing a great job. How do you copy me? I'll get you in the log. You're 5'9" in South Texas.
You're 5'9" here. Got a great signal.
I appreciate that, Lonnie. 5'9" both ways. This is Kilo Charlie 5, Tango Hotel Romeo for the WASA-net. Worked all states in the WARS-net. If you'd like to get on the list, please come down with your call sign. Where you at? Somerset, Williamsburg, Corbin, you're somewhere I know.
Well, Woody, that was guess number 1. I'm on top of Wildcat Mountain, right on the Laurel County, Rockcastle County line. It's about halfway between London and Livingston. Real closer to Livingston, probably.
Livingston up there, yeah. That's Livingston is below Mount Vernon, ain't it?
Yeah, it's before you get to Mount Vernon.
Oh, you sounding good. What are you doing up there on top? You on top of the little hill mountain or something there?
Yeah, I come out here. I'm doing a thing of filming a video, doing radio in a park.
Well, what you just string an antenna up or something like you're using your HF?
I did. I threw a baling or a wire across a tree, raised it up with a rope, and hooked up my HF. Talked to some guy in Texas.
Yeah, 20 meters or 40 meters or where?
40 meters.
A little bit earlier. Before, I was over Williamson. And I got hunting, I thought I'm going to stop in Windy, get gas, and go to Somerset to Captain D's. And I got over to Windy, got the gas. Then I got thinking, well, I'd like to have a chili and I'd like to have fish. So I turned around and went to Williamsburg and got me some Wendy's chili and sit over and eat it. And then I hauled around on 40 meter CW and I looked down and buddy, it was like a 1 point. I mean, it was way up in the red, the tuner, FWR. So I couldn't tune it. And I went home and kept checking around, and the coax that goes to the tuner was about halfway on there. And I tightened that up real good tight, and I could tune it real good. That was my problem.
Well, this thing tuned up right good. I've got another little outfit I built here that I'm talking to you on. I put a mobile in an ammo can.
Trying to get in a McCurry County KU4TJM.
Hey, Tim, how are you doing?
You know, buddy, sounding good on my end.
I'm up at Wildcat Mountain filming one of my YouTube videos.
Yeah, Wildcat Mountain, huh? I'd like to with you. I never heard of it.
Never heard of the Battle of Camp Wildcat Mountain?
No, I don't think I have.
It was a Civil War battle. It was the first major battle in eastern Kentucky. Zollicoffer with the Confederates came out of Cumberland Gap and was trying to advance against the Union that was camped at Camp Dick up on 27 just south of Lexington. And they met here at Camp Wildcat and had a battle. This is where my grandparents were from. My grandmother's grandfather had a trading post up here. It's along Wilderness Road.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you're sounding good from up there. Go ahead, buddy. Yeah, Skip, where you had that battle was there, is there usually where they have great big battles, they got cemeteries around in that area where they bury the dead soldiers. Is there a big cemetery around there?
There's not a soldier cemetery that I know of. I guess they carried them back to where they came from.
You know, up there around Nancy, boy, there's a big one up there on Old Lady. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Yes, there's thousands of soldiers there, Civil War.
Yeah, that's Mill Creek. That's where the general that was involved in this one from the Confederacy, Felix Zollicoffer, that's where he's buried.
I want to stop in there one day. It's up on a hill, and it looks like it goes over the hill and on. Different parts to walk around. I think that's a big one there around Camp Nelson.
Yeah, that Camp Nelson. That's where these Union soldiers were from that was in this battle.
And you say they probably brought them from there back up to Camp Nelson?
Yes, I guess they did. There's two graves here that it's got a sign on says they were Union soldiers that were killed, and the sign says that they dug the bodies up later and they hauled them back to wherever, I guess Camp Nelson, to bury them.
Good evening. The time is 7:01 p.m. Welcome to the KT4TTJ repeater system.
Yeah, that Tim and Skipper, that was a bad war. Neighbor fighting neighbor, brother. They said some places brothers are fighting brothers, and a lot of Americans got killed. That's sad, buddy. But there's going to be a resurrection one day, and I sure hope a lot of them buddies, they'll want it.
Yeah, hopefully so. They was more Americans killed in that war than any other war.
No, it really happened, buddy. That's all history, buddy. Read all about it. Go ahead, California, KF4GUI. Yeah, you guys have a good night there. I'm going into home here. 73 to you. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Be careful out there, Skipper. KE4TJM.
Tim, you take care, KU4TJM. It's KR4 Golf Whiskey Delta.